clinic. A lot of people have done it. It's important to do it from time to time and refresh ourselves because we can't forget the process and everybody's got different jobs, and it's important to be efficient because the longer you spend, taking your time down there, if it's a big day, the boat can fill up with water, and so you're wasting time against the time that you're bailing. So there's a whole sequence of events that need to happen efficiently. Robbie's gonna walk us through that. The only thing I have to say is, before all the equipment, the important part is the paddler and making sure everybody is safe. Calling your number out in order from the 1 to the 6 is the most basic thing, and we've seen so many boats where people forget. They just don't do it right away, and we're wasting valuable time. And if ever somebody was stuck under, we don't have much time to get them out. So please, biggest thing, seat 1, just know, even if you've been paddling for a half hour, you Huli, you come out, you call your number, and then after that, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Biggest thing. And then after that, we have a process of how we're doing things.
All right, so the Huli process, yes, we're gonna do Hulis today and maybe a couple more times in the next few paddles. So I do want to reiterate that the absolute most important thing when you Huli, first things first, is call your numbers out 1 through 6. Like what Kayla's saying, the most important thing is each of us, canoes are just objects. We're all way more important than that. So let's make sure we're all safe first and foremost. Okay, so after you've called your numbers out, what are the seat rolls? So we kind of talked this through, Kelly and myself, after having done this a few times and looking through what we think is the best and most efficient way to flip the canoe and get back in. So each roll, so the 1, your job is going to primarily be to start holding the nose. If you can try and turn it into the surf, that's ideal. The 6, same thing. You're on the tail. You're trying to work together, putting the nose and the tail of the canoe either into the swell, through the tail or the nose, whichever works better, whichever is easier. But try and get that to the safe spot. Otherwise, if you're sideways, waves are going to crash over the canoe. We don't really want that. So ideally, you get the nose into the swell. The main people flipping the canoe are going to be the 2 and the 5. The reason for that, so you're going to have to reach over the canoe, try and kick yourself up, reach over the canoe, and flip it over. That means you will have to swim to the other side, first off. So you go under, reach over, and flip. Ideally, you want to do it from the 6 seat and the 1 seat, the shortest part of the boat that you can reach over and grab something. And most of us should be able to do that. Some of us who might be a little shorter might have a harder time. We'll talk about that in a second, but that's a general rule of thumb. 2 and 5, we want you flipping in that way. The 3 and the 4, your main role is going to be to just kind of push the Yaku over, also kind of control it a little bit. So if it's flipping, you don't want to flip it too fast. You can try and control the Yaku when you're pushing it over. Also, yard sail duty, we're giving that to the 3 seat. So that means if paddles are floating away, life jackets are floating away, the 3, it's your job to try and track all that down. You can hold people's paddles. As far as paddles go, by the way, if you Huli, you might lose your paddle for a second. If you can hold onto your paddle, that's ideal in my opinion, but if you do want to give it to the 3 to help you do your job, flipping the canoe, whatever it is, do so. Give it to the 3, they'll hold on to it for you. Other things you can do with your paddle, once the canoe's flipped over, you can stick it in the seat. Okay, so that's the job that's how we're going to get those are the rolls for flipping the canoe over. Other little subtle things you can do while you're flipping the canoe. The 1 and the 6, if you can kind of just try and push it up a little bit while it's flipping, that should prevent water from getting in a little bit. That's fairly helpful. You could also help roll the canoe over, and yeah, that'll help a little bit. Like I was saying, we don't want to flip it too hard if we can help it. Obviously, the most important thing is to get it back over, but if you're the 3 and the 4 and you're not the Yaku, try and slow it down a little bit. Just help keep the canoe a little bit more intact. Okay, so once it's over, we want the 3 and the 4 to get back in as soon as you can and start bailing. All right, bailing from the center of the canoe is ideal. It's where the water is going to be deepest. Once the canoe's over, start getting paddles back in the boat. If it's choppy out, not everybody should get back in the boat right away. Let the bailers go for a bit. Otherwise, the canoe will, if we're all in it, it'll sink a little bit, inviting more water in. So let them bail a little bit before starting to hop in. Now, of course, situations may be different depending on the conditions. Maybe you do need to just get back in and start paddling. But generally, 3 and 4 get back in, start bailing. Everybody else wait a second, let them get some water out, then hop back in. that is, I think, mostly it. As people are getting back in, you can start paddling if you need to get going. But another thing to just keep in mind, these are our general guidelines, our rules of thumb. Things may change depending on who's in the boat, who's doing what. If your 2 or your 5 are just not able to get over, you know, if the 3 or the 4 or the 6 or the 1 are just taller and can do it, you can change roles, that's okay. Listen to your 6 or your captain. If I'm in the boat or Kelly in the boat, you can listen to us. Primarily, the 6 is the most responsible person for everybody. Listen to your 6 always. If the 6 sees, like, all right, like I said, they're not flipping it, we got to switch roles, someone's got someone taller to get over, just do that, that's okay. So again, those are rules of thumb, things can change. Another just thing to keep in mind, we try not to do this, but if there's an emergency and we just can't get it over for whatever reason, you can do another little technique where you kind of climb onto the canoe, step on the yacht, and roll it over. I know that's a strategy we do sometimes, but like I said, only if we really just can't get it over. All right, I think those are my general rules of thumb. I'll open up for questions now.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
One thing I do, especially when the skirts are on, is if the boat flips over and I still have my paddle, I stick it underneath my seat. Like I'm just underneath here. It seems to stay in there, especially if you have skirts in, it's going to kind of hold it in place, so it gives you a free hand, but that's not always the case. But like in these little calm waters, it seems like you can, while the boat's flipped, you just stick it underneath your seat. And usually it'll kind of stay in place there. At least it's one less paddle you got to buckle. Just my 2 cents.
And try not to let everybody get in right away. It tends to happen. People get a little bit panicky and want to get in right away. If you can be patient, let your 3 and 4 get some bailing done for a little bit, unless the situation calls for it. But like, be patient, let them bail, and then get in.
Yeah, and that's another thing you just said is really important. Just stay calm the whole time. You know, it's really, you know, it's okay if the canoe flips. It's not a big deal. We're not racing, you know, 99% of the time. So just everybody take a breath. What's that?
We're always racing.
We're always like if we're going for a time with Huli, it's over. You don't worry about it. The most important thing is everybody stays calm, no panicking. Just it's okay. Just relax, float around if you need to. Take a breath. Another thing to also keep in mind, you know, when we do flip, try if you can cover your head. That's helpful. Just protect yourself.
Yeah.
If there's ever a situation where someone's hurt or having trouble getting back in, we can help each other. That's also okay. Strategy to help each other out. I like to hold one hand on the canoe, give your hand, someone your hand for their foot. You have 2 people do that if necessary, or give the thigh. It's one way to help someone else get back in if that's necessary. All right. Go ahead, Pete.
So C5, I was in C5 last week.